my God, they put a beat down on the San Antonio Spurs. And really, I think it's over now. The Utah Jazz would have to completely collapse. As we've been talking about, the Suns have that means a lot, they have an exponentially more difficult schedule than the Utah Jazz do. The Jazz swept the 2-game set with San Antonio, blew them out again last night, yet the Phoenix Suns went to the Atlanta Hawks to die, which, by the way, somebody on this show correctly predicted that was going to happen.
Yeah, but I don't know basketball. I don't watch games. So,
that'd be Jake.
Yeah.
But is it over, Jake, when you think about the Western Conference and you think about home court advantage throughout the Western Conference playoffs?
Yeah.
Is it over?
Yeah, I think it's probably over. I think that I think that, with this season, the time's running out, right? So if you had more time, I'm sure these teams would go back and forth, and maybe the Suns would have another opportunity. But I think at this stage, now that you're back, now that the Jazz have the 1-game lead again, I think, it would take collapse is the right word, frankly. I mean, that is the word of choice. I mean, it would take the Jazz losing. You would have to probably lose, 3 in a row to give the Suns the opportunity to, first tie, then take the lead. So, I just think I don't see that happening. I think we can all agree the Jazz aren't going to lose 3 games in a row at this stage of the year. That's just not going to happen. And frankly, last night and even in the first game against the Spurs, I've been pleased with what this team has done to the Spurs. I mean, this Spurs team is not good. They have some talent, but they're not a good team. And you should be handling this team. And I think if you're Quinn Snyder and this coaching staff, you should be really happy with the minutes that you're able to get the young guys right now. The Forrests and the Onis and all these guys that, you're developing. And I think that, again, we talked a lot about it on the show about how, the media in this town is really, blowing up Forrest and saying that he's a great draft pick and all this stuff. I'm not quite there yet. But what I will say, where I do agree, is it's great that they're able to get him these reps, because I think anytime you can get a young guy reps, you never know quite what he can turn into, because I think, from player to player when you're a young guy, it really is a choice how far you want to take your skill set. So being able to get him these reps really, I think, in the future, like next year, the year after next, could insulate you from major injury. That could really help you down the line.
Yeah, and I think there's very little doubt in my mind that the Utah Jazz are the best team in the Western Conference right now. And when I say right now, it's the regular season. What they did the last 2 games against the San Antonio Spurs was nothing short of spectacular. You're without your 2 best offensive players, yet you dominated a team that has talent, and you did it with defense. And Rudy Gobert stood up and was a defensive stopper and stalwart. He's exactly what you needed him to be, what you wanted him to be. And I think you look at the points that you're getting. I will continue to say the makeover and the rebirth of Bojan Bogdanovic over the last couple of weeks. This guy was left for dead in March. I mean, in much of April, frankly. But over the last couple of weeks, he has really turned himself into a force on the low block. And he's a guy, in my opinion, Jake, that I think he's powering this team. And I think it is time to give him credit. And I know that all of the Bojan Bogdanovic fans that came out of the woodwork on YouTube and you SOBs don't know what you're talking about. He's the greatest player in international basketball. We get it. You like
Bojan.
You like Bojan a lot. We understand it. Bojan Bogdanovic has not had the best season.
Yeah.
The wrist is clearly still an issue, and yet this guy continues to attack the basket. He continues to get into the paint, Jake, and I think that fearless mentality needs to be recognized and it needs to be called out.
Yeah, there's definitely been an evolution in his game. There's definitely a distinct difference between, going to the rack a couple of times a game and just sort of trying to incorporating it. And that versus, being like intentional and saying, hey, we're going to start this game. I want to say last night, it was the first possession the Jazz got where he took, I don't remember who he took on the block, but he took them and bullied them and just got a good look and got them on the board early. And I love that. I think that, this team, when I say, hey, watch the game within the game for the Jazz, these are the kind of things I'm talking about. I'm talking about Bogey doing work on the block. I'm talking about Jordan Clarkson last night giving him 30, and how he was able to get those points. I'm talking about the fact that he had that awesome behind-the-back pass from the paint out to the weak side wing. You know, like I'm talking about these little things that these guys are doing and trying to get better at that hopefully translate to the postseason. And I know we've talked about this a lot, but I while we're on the bogey topic, I think it has to again be brought up. I really hope that we continue to see Bogdanovic work on the block when Donovan Mitchell comes back. I don't want him to regress into a guy who just sits on the wing or sits in the corner and becomes sort of, you know, that guy that we knew earlier in the year, that relied on the three, lived and died by the three, and found himself in a situation where I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think at one point he was shooting like 20% from three. You know, it was horrible. So
it was ugly.
Yeah, I mean, so like he's found a way to expand his game, and I'm not saying he's one of the all-time great scorers or anything, but I think all of the all-time greats, the LeBrons, the Michaels, the Kobes, all the great scorers in the league's ever seen, those guys get their nights going, their 30, 40-point-a-night performances going by getting easy buckets early. And I think Bogdanovic doing that has really allowed him to build momentum early in the game for himself, which allows him to hit those bigger threes later in the game.
But you know what else I think it did? I think what it's done, rather, I think it's allowed guys to play freer basketball. And I think what you're seeing is guys that struggle need volume. I mean, I look at Jordan Clarkson, as you mentioned. I mean, the thriller from Manila, because bless all of our listeners and viewers in the Philippines who are just all about Jordan Clarkson. Love you. But what Jordan Clarkson showed us is that when he's good, he's elite. And I don't think there's any doubt that he's the sixth man of the year. I don't know that that's been in question, but when you have performances like Jordan Clarkson had last night, it reinforces that. But I think it also frees up Rudy Gobert. The reliance on Rudy Gobert offensively goes down. And, you know, I think we've talked an awful lot about the fact that Rudy in the last 5 minutes is an offensive liability because he really, that's why you're seeing, you know, much to our point that Quinn Snyder will rotate him offense for defense in the last 5 minutes of games. It's why you don't see him playing, you know, the first 8 minutes of the 10 minutes of the first quarter. He usually is out at the 6 minute mark, and justifiably so. But what it does is it takes that pressure off of Rudy to do something. And I just think the way that Bojan is playing right now, his attacking the basket frees up everybody else to do what they love to do. And I also think when you have big nights like this, it allows you to manage minutes as well, which I think Quinn Snyder's done a remarkable job of. I don't know that this season could have played out any better. Now, you don't want Donovan to get hurt. You love Mike Conley to play 70, but that didn't happen, right? Mm-hmm. So with the way the injuries occurred, I don't know that you could have asked for a better script to have been written because you're getting load management, your ability to manage minutes, your ability to develop guys like Bogey and build his confidence so that when Mike Conley comes back, when Donovan Mitchell comes back, when the postseason arrives here in a couple of weeks, he's going to be fully, you know, excited, energized, engaged. I feel like this has worked out really well for the Jazz.
Yeah, they've done really well adapting and handling the injuries. I mean, certainly, you know, if we compare the Jazz handling of the injuries and what they've been able to do with, you know, again, Clarkson, Bogey, you know, Forrest, Oni, like all these guys that they've been working on little things in their game with. I mean, I think the Jazz have done a wonderful job, you know, when you compare them to, like, you know, what the Lakers have had to deal with or, like, you know, what the Clippers have had to deal with Kawhi or, like, any of these other teams, you know. And the other thing I want to say about Bogey really quick is, you know, again, we talked about this yesterday before this game happened last night. Last night, several times, I saw Bogdanovic pass out of the post.
Yes.
He was very intentional about looking for the weak side corner man standing wide open in the corner. He was very intentional about making sure that when the double came, he moved the ball soon enough so that they could swing the ball all the way back around. And I think that him doing that, yes, it's an evolution in his game, but to your point, I think it really shows us that he's locking in mentally. He's saying, okay, this is not just about me scoring. Early in the game it is, but this is more about me forcing the defense to come to me so we can swing the ball and get an open look.
Me to me?
Me to me, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that the Kermit the Frog hoodie thing?
Hoodie Frog.
I think you're exactly right. And I think when you look at the results, I mean, I just don't see a path for the Phoenix Suns to win the West. I mean, the schedule, even if you look at Friday night, which, by the way, we're going to be at the Nuggets game.
Boy, and I can't wait, dude.
Even though we don't watch games, we're going to be like 4 rows off the floor. So, we won't watch the game. I promise I'll bring blinders. But anyway, the point is, we'll be at the Nugs game on Friday night.
The what?
The Nugs.
The Nuggies?
Yes. Chicken McNuggies.
Yeah.
That'll be tomorrow night. We'll be at that game. It's a huge game. And you're like, okay, well, what if the Jazz lose that game? Well, the Suns are coming home where they're not an elite home team. They're much better on the road, but they're coming home to play the Knicks. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like this is a gimme game where all of a sudden you're like, oh, the Jazz are gonna lose and the Suns are gonna win. Like, I think that the Suns showed at the Garden that they can beat the Knicks, certainly, but the Knicks are a very difficult out. They're one of the hottest teams in the NBA.
Yeah.
So when I look at that matchup and I look at Saturday it's Houston here in Salt Lake City. That game's over already.
But wait, I think there's a small detail there, which is, hey, you're going back to back, right? You're gonna probably, I could be wrong. I know I don't watch Jazz games. Again, I know we say that tongue in cheek, but I know I don't watch Jazz games.
Right.
The Nuggets game,
established.
Let's say that you lose to the Nuggets, right? That's a battle, like you lose to the Nuggets. This Houston team it's possible they could beat you. They're a young team. They've got a lot of talent.
No, it's not possible because, they play Friday night in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see you next season, Houston. Like, there's no chance. That would be okay. So, to my point, my brilliance, my awesomeness, my good looks, I don't know what that has to do with anything. That's just natural given ability here. But the point is, if they lose to Houston, I'll cut off your right pinky finger.
Cut off your hand. I'm the one saying they're going to lose.
No, I have beautiful hands. The
Yeah.
point is, there's no way they're losing to the Rockets on Saturday night.
Okay.
And I know it's a back-to-back.
I'm telling you right now, Jordan Clarkson's not giving you 30 against the Rockets.
Well, that might be true, but what are the Rockets going to have left after they get
They're a young
in Milwaukee?
team, bro. It's not what they have left. They're going to have more energy. I'm not saying they're a better team. That's not my point here. They're clearly not a better team. What I'm telling you is that why is it that the Jazz have been able to beat the hell out of the San Antonio Spurs to this level?
Because the Spurs are really bad.
The Spurs are really bad, but seriously, this is a point you guys need to pay attention to. This is when this team plays back-to-back, the backside of the back-to-back, they are not good. They are tired. They lack explosion. Mentally, they make more errors, so they turn the ball over more. We've seen that. That's not me just hating. Like, we've seen that happen consistently.
I agree.
So I get that the Rockets are bad. I get that, it's a gimme game. It's at home. They should blow them out by 25. Hey, I hope that happens. For the record, I want that to happen. But what I'm telling you is it's never that simple when you're playing the second game of a back-to-back and you're facing a young team who's got a ton of energy. That it's not that simple. So I'm just telling you, they should win the game, but don't write it off right away.
Yeah. Wow. Look at a lot of you in already. We're only 16 minutes into the show, and we're packed.
They know what the day is.
They know what it is.
Yeah. Come on.
James Knight. Good morning to you. He says, "Congrats on the 500 subs, guys. Thank you very much. I should fix the camera first. Thank you very much, James. Appreciate that. Cannot wait to come to Melbourne. You can buy us a 4X gold. Wait, doesn't he owe us 4X gold already? I can't remember. James, don't you owe us beer?
Wasn't it for the Wolves game?
I think it was.
Well, whatever.
I think we were correct.
We didn't hold him accountable the day after, so I guess he got off the hook.
Cody Strickland says Xbox time. It's Return of the Sixth. Get the Sith in stuff.
All right, we're going to move on here.
Illerk Gnurk says it's not over. Nuggets in Portland. We're going to the Blazer game as well because we're rich.
Sell more Yelp ads.
Yeah, sell more Yelp ads, please God. Portland's going to be a tough game. Portland's always a tough game, but the Jazz have handled them well this season. I think that's a playoff matchup you'd like to avoid, by the way. But I think the Jazz will be fine against Portland. Cody Strickland also says playoff with Jazz prize would be sick. I think the Spurs gave up, to be honest. We did perform well, but a big challenge will be Friday. I believe David Locke said Donovan will be out still Friday. Yeah, Donovan won't even be reevaluated until the weekend. So That is going to be a very big challenge. Illert Gnick also says, Illert Gnick says it's the Spurs. I want to see them against the Nuggets. Me too.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
well,
me
and
too.
by the way, quick question. I mean, what do we? And this is a question straight for you guys in the comments. Like, how are you going to feel if this team does lose to the Nuggets Friday at home without Jamal? I mean, I think that. I'm not saying that that's going to happen. I do believe it's going to be a great game. I do believe it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be a battle. And the Jazz obviously are not going to have Donovan. I'm not really sure. I haven't seen an update on Conley. I would assume that maybe there's a chance.
We should get one today. We'll know.
Yeah, so I would assume there's a chance he'll play, considering it is the Nuggets. So, but my question just is, what are you going to say about this team if they lose to the Nuggets? You would have had a day off. You're off today, and you're fresh for tomorrow. You really should. This is a game that you should probably win.
This is going to be a battle. And again, this is a game where I say I think you have to pay attention to Rudy Gobert, and I think you have to pay attention to how that matchup with Nikola Jokic, who I think is the NBA MVP. How does that matchup go? I mean, already that Jokic is involved in, what was it, 41% of the Nuggets basket?
He's involved in 40% of their assists.
41% of their baskets. Shoots the three well. Did you see him last night, like driving the lane, running the floor, between the legs, dribble for he's playing as well as any player in the NBA right now. And I don't know that Rudy is capable of standing in front of him when that you have to play tight because he can shoot the three at a very high percentage. That matchup will be important. The Michael Porter Jr. matchup, I don't know how you defend him because I think Royce is not 100%. That much is very clear.
Very clear. Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to watch. There's just a lot of interesting matchups in this game. If the Jazz win this game, I mean, it's an impressive win. If they beat the Nugs, I think it's a very impressive win.
Well, and I think here's what's going to happen. I mean, in terms of how the Nuggets are going to attack the Jazz defense, it's going to be very straightforward, which is you're going to give Jokic the ball at the top of the key, whether it's at the elbow or the 3-point line.
Right.
You're going to give him the ball right there, and then he's going to work off of that. You will see, and I'll be curious to see what Quinn decides to do with Royce O'Neal, if he's going to put him on Porter or if he's going to put him on Aaron Gordon. And this is why the acquisition.
You're putting him on Porter.
You think you're putting him on Porter?
You have to. I think
You're putting Bogey on Aaron Gordon.
I think you have to. I don't know. I'm not putting Bogey on Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah.
What other Joe Ingles on Michael Porter Jr.
No, I guess not. You're right.
There's not a great matchup for
Porter. I just am really concerned. So the point I was getting to there is that I think that if you can imagine this, so you've got Jokic at the top of the key, and then you've got Aaron Gordon in the corner. Porter's on the wing. What ends up happening is they work a little bit of pick and roll action with Porter and Jokic, but then Aaron Gordon is consistently looking for the baseline back cut. They get that probably 10 times a game in their high percentage looks. So that's how they're going to attack this defense.
My man Will is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Will says, "Don't start kissing their ass now."
I knew somebody was going to say that. I knew somebody was going to say that. I knew it. Oh,
I love it. I love it.
Listen, I mean, people...
Don't start kissing their ass now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And as Brandon Whiteside so succinctly says, not losing to the Nuggets, Bojan to the moon. I wish it was Bojan. Anyway, Casey Finlinson says, "Morning, fellas. Thanks for the shoe advice last night. My pleasure."
Hey, that was amazing, though.
Yep. James Knight says, "Come down to Melbourne. I'll hook you up with a variety of Australian beers." Hey, we'll be there, man. I am excited
so bad.
Yeah, we'll talk travel some other time. My wife is really prioritizing Italy right now, which I'm on board for.
You gonna go to Monza?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm gonna. Dude, I'm telling you, we're going to eat all kinds of bad food in
spaghetti,
Italy.
Pizza.
No, I'm not a spaghetti guy.
Really?
No, lasagna for sure. Anyway, make sure you hit subscribe right now on our YouTube channel. We are going to do a giveaway at the end of the show for the Xbox because we're over 500 subs. But then we're going to do probably every couple of weeks. We're really trying to drive to 1,000 now. Obviously, we're at 500, so now we can start, focusing on 750.
Yeah, I mean, you can't get to 1,000 without 500, as you've said so many times.
Right,
so.
and you can't get to 750 without 500, and you
Right.
can't get to 1,000 without 750. I mean, what chicken and the egg here.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so make sure you hit subscribe. Give us a thumbs up on this video. Mikey says, you guys have flipped the script all of a sudden, as you love to say, Monty. Now Bogey's an all-star. I didn't say
Nobody
Bogey
said he was an all-star, guys. See, this is
don't
what
get
y'all
carried
do,
away.
dude. This is what y'all do. Like, you
Don't
can't
get
just
carried away.
exaggerate what we said. What did we say? We said specifically that he's been working on this block back to the basket style of basketball and bullying people at his position when the matchup presents it. And we specifically said that him doing that opens up their offense more. And I think we also, I know for a fact, we specifically talked about the fact that this all started because Bogdanovic went into a shooting slump, and Quinn Snyder was trying to get him going and trying to find other
Jake,
ways.
That's not true. Bojan Bogdanovic has always been able to play with his back to the basket. Didn't you watch him in international basketball?
Duh.
Didn't you see him at AAU tournaments when he was 7?
I'm gonna get medieval on your ass.
You should read the YouTube comments about Bojan Bogdanovic. Like, there are some ridiculous comments. Well, look, in the womb, there are photos of him on the ultrasound playing with his back to the basket. Like,
Congratulations, but that's bullshit.
I mean, when his sperm cell was swimming towards the egg, it was doing it with its back to the basket.
We're getting somewhere.
That was probably an exaggeration on my half.
What?
Like,
What?
The point is, the comments are like, listen, if you watch any Jazz basketball at all, and I'm not saying we do.
No, we just, what we do? We watch the baking
probably
channel.
let that go.
We watch the baking channel at night, and then we just hop on the show and just,
Yeah, I mean, we watch the Procreatorial Activity channel, which is Animal Planet. Anyway, the point is, we watch a ton of Jazz basketball.
Yeah.
Bojan was not aggressively attacking the basket. He was not running the break. He was not playing with his back to the basket. You're exactly right. He went into an incredible three-point shooting slump. By the way, that's what happens when you live and die with the three as a team and as a player. Mm-hmm. Jordan Clarkson, Mike Conley, Bojan Bogdanovic, James Harden, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, who almost shot an air ball with the game on the line the other night. When you live and die from three, a lot of times you're going to die.
Yeah. So
you have to have something else in your bag. And I think when you look at Bojan Bogdanovic, he has clearly worked to add that. Now, as Mitch says, let's talk about how bad the Suns were last night. Okay, let's do that. And I'm all down. Listen, I'm all down if you're a Jazz fan and you want to pile on. Like, there's a bunch of people talking about how, my love affair with Devin Booker's ended since they've started losing. What do you mean? What do you mean they've started losing?
Yeah, what does that look like?
They haven't started. They lost one game in Atlanta on a back-to-back.
So did the Jazz start losing when they lost back-to-back to the Wolves? Like,
this is a league of swoon, right? I look at Devin Booker. Swoon. I'm swooning for you. I look at Devin Booker last night. 11 of 20, 30 points, 5 dimes, 3 boards.
Wet like on book.
He had a very good game. You want to talk about somebody that didn't have a good game? Chris Paul played 24 minutes and scored 9 points. That's not a recipe for winning. But it's called load management, minute management. And I think Monty Williams is doing the exact same thing that Quinn Snyder and many others are doing.
Yep.
If I have to finish second, I'm fine with finishing second. I think the Suns know they can win on the road. They're one of the best road teams in the NBA.
25-10 now.
Yeah, I mean, I look at how many guys they played heavy minutes last night. If you look at Kaminsky, Cam Johnson, Cameron Payne, who, by the way, back in the lineup, and Carter, all played 15-plus minutes. I look at that all of your starters played a minimum of 20 minutes. Like, he played a lot of people a lot of minutes. And then you look at Galloway and Moore and Smith and Saric. Like, Saric, if you're a Suns fan, Saric is a problem for you. I just think that Monty Williams doesn't trust him enough to give him 15, 20 minutes a night.
Yeah.
And I think he hasn't earned that. I look at DeAndre Ayton, and again, in losses, he's one of the reasons they're bad. DeAndre Ayton played 26 minutes, took 4 shots, and scored 7 points, and only gave you 8 rebounds. I look at Clint Capella, who his opposite number, 24 minutes, 18 points, 10 boards, 2 blocks, 8 of 11 from the floor.
Yeah.
DeAndre Ayton got whooped. I mean, it's that simple. And my point is, if we're looking at weaknesses, when you have a guy like DeAndre Ayton who's soft, he struggles to catch the basketball in traffic, teams like the Atlanta Hawks at home on a back-to-back are going to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Because you're not mentally sharp. So when I look at the Suns, no, I'm not really worried about the Suns. The Suns are 47-19. If they finish second, it's not nearly as important as the Utah Jazz winning the West, which I think they did last night.
Yeah.
Has anybody peeped the Phoenix Suns schedule? I mean, it is
We talk about it every day.
Yeah, I mean, it is about as difficult as it gets. You look at just their back-to-backs.
Yeah.
At Cleveland, at Atlanta, right? Okay.
I told you guys they were going to lose to the Hawks. Like I told you,
You
that.
did.
I mean,
You did.
And then you look at this schedule, and there's a couple more on there.
Friday, home for the Knicks. Sunday, at the Lakers. Tuesday, at Golden State. Thursday, home for Portland. Saturday, Sunday, 15th and 16th. End it back-to-back at San Antonio. I mean, that is a tough road to hoe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how they make up a game on a team like the Jazz, who are at home for all of their biggest games.
Uh-huh.
Like if you look at this Jazz schedule, it is Denver at home, Houston at home, at Golden State on Monday, right? So they play. Oh man. The audio podcast might be a problem today. Anyway, the point is, they play home for Denver, home for Houston, Friday, Saturday, Monday at Golden State, Wednesday at home for Portland, and then Friday, Sunday at Oklahoma City, at Sacramento.
Yeah.
That's a far easier schedule than what the Suns have.
Yeah, I mean, when you're at home, it's definitely better. It's an advantage. There's no question about it. Obviously, that they don't face teams. Obviously, Nuggets and Portland are difficult, but overall, the Jazz are not going to face the level of competition that the Suns are. But at the end of the day, listen, I agree with your point that it is more important to the Jazz to have the number 1 seed than it is to the Suns. And I simply say that because I know for a fact there's more expectations on the Jazz than there are for the Suns. I mean, the simple fact is that the Suns are very much like a sweetheart story this year, and people have been waiting for the Jazz to be this team for like 4 years. So nobody's surprised about what the Utah Jazz are doing, and I think if you're the Jazz at this point, your number 1 priority is to make sure when Don comes back, the LeBron situation doesn't happen to Donovan Mitchell. He comes back, he's 100%. There's no worries. He can play wild and crazy basketball the way he usually does, and everything's cool.
Yes, exactly right. Forgotten Soul says, last night we won by 32 and the Suns lost by 32.
Mm-hmm.
Karma. I do believe in numerology. Achille Jean-Pierre says the game plan would be to get whoever's guarding Gordon in foul trouble. That's what they did to RJ last night. Well, I mean, I think that's really important. I mean, and this is what I don't understand about Rudy. Like, why are teams not attacking Rudy Gobert more?
Well, they were, but then they kind of like everybody got all excited about the fact that the Spurs backed out on that one highlight, and I'm just sitting there saying that was actually smart by them. Like to go up right there, you knew you were going to get blocked, so kick it back out and get a better look.
Yeah,
like,
and by the way, I think they wound up hitting a 3 on that.
Yeah, so like it's no shade towards Rudy. I'm just saying that. Everybody, I think Jazz fans really want him to be in the MVP conversation, and that's just not a reality. He's definitely the front runner for Defensive Player of the Year again. I mean, I don't think that that's really in question. And I just think that this Jazz team is desperate for the postseason to get here. I think we're in a position where we're thirsty for postseason basketball. We're ready to go. Like, it's time. This schedule has been wearing on forever. So I think once that happens, the energy will come back.
Will is back in. Mm-hmm. He says, you guys are turning into typical Salt Lake City media. You flip-flop based on the demeanor of the fans. All you're doing is catering to who will watch you the most.
How did we do that?
How have we flip-flopped it?
How have we done that? I want examples. How have we done that? Tell me how we've done that.
The thing that I don't understand is, why is it so difficult? Why is it so difficult to break down a team on a nightly basis? Because I don't think the Jazz are hard to understand. When they need Bojan Bogdanovic to do what he's doing, because nobody else can do what he's doing.
Nobody
Nobody else can score in volume.
They need Bogey to have 30. They need Jordan Clarkson to have 30, and they need Rudy to have 20 to 25 points with 15 rebounds. If those three happen while Donovan and Mike are out, they're going to win the game. It's really that simple. So people like Will love to come in the comments and love to try to like call us out, or you guys are catering to the people. We could give a damn, honestly. With all due respect to our commenters, we could give a damn what you guys are saying to us, because our opinion's always going to be what the reality is. We're watching the game. We're telling you what happened. And by the way, this whole narrative in the comments today about how you've gotten off the Devin Booker train, or you haven't wanted to talk about the Suns losing. We straight up told you on the show yesterday the Suns were going to lose to the Hawks.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you guys where you guys go with this.
Well,
stuff.
and they don't lose a whole lot. So
I don't know what you guys are trying to say.
Yeah, neither one of these teams loses a whole lot.
Like at the end of the day, we tell you when there's issues with the Jazz. We tell you when there's issues with the Suns. We tell you when they're doing well.
Yeah.
We tell you the fact. I just said Rudy should be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. He should probably win it if we're being honest about it. And he shouldn't be in the MVP conversation. So I feel like my opinion is that folks like Will and the other people that come in with as I like to call hot take guy, or comment warrior guy, they like to come into the comments and say things, and it's like, dude, we're just keeping it honest about what we see on the floor. Like, we can talk about the issues with this team. We can talk about the successes of this team. We can talk about the fact that the front office has been trashed these last 3 seasons in adding talent to the team. I mean, really, we could talk about whatever you want to, but I don't agree with the sentiment that we cater or build the show off of what people are going to say.
I think it is. This team is very frustrating. If you're a Jazz fan, this team has been frustrating. I mean, they have not played consistently. They have not been able to keep everybody healthy, and I agree with you that they have not been able to build on this core group. And that seems to be what the struggle for the Jazz has been for a decade. If you go back to, just think about all the different guys you've had here when it was Ennis and that group, and Gordon, obviously, and the whole thing that you went through with Gordon where the blog came out too early and he was gone. And that whole time you just were trying to believe in something. And then you go through a stretch where you're just not very good. You get Donovan Mitchell, but now you've lost in the first round the last couple of years, and you really haven't changed or upgraded the team.
Yeah.
And now you're fighting for the number 1 spot, and you have major injuries to guys like Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell. I understand why Jazz fans are frustrated. We talk about this on a regular basis.
Yeah.
This franchise is one of the most difficult franchises in sports to be a fan of. And that's why we've talked a lot about when Ryan Smith bought the team, you were hoping for an influx of energy and a philosophical change. Mm-hmm. But there were so many people that were frustrated with the scholarship thing where, hey, we've won 51 games and we've given away 51 scholarships, but white kids were excluded, and we had some huge fight about white kids versus underprivileged minorities. And it's frustrating. It's a team that is difficult to be a fan of. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why I say, and I'm not even trying to polish or shine Jazz fans, this organization more than any other owes it to its fan base to win a championship. Yeah. How frustrated were you with the Jordan Russell play? How frustrated were you with Michael Jordan stripping Karl Malone? How frustrated were you when you didn't win a championship and Karl Malone winds up riding off into the sunset in a Laker uniform? It's frustrating.
Yeah.
You need to exercise those demons, A, by winning in the first couple of rounds, and B, going to the NBA Finals at a minimum. But it would be great if you won a championship to just exercise these demons. That to me is huge. Let's see. Cody Strickland says, anyone notice that Forrest seems shy to take a 3? Well, he shoots 20% from 3.
He should be shy to take a 3. That shot is not good,
His mechanics are
dude.
terrible.
Yeah, he has a hesitation in the middle of his release, and that kills your percentage.
Mighty Rhiannon says, Festus Bojan had a huge wingspan for his age. John Calipari offered Festus Bojan, true story. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. Brandon Whiteside says, without Paul, the Suns are a lotto team. Book can't carry a feather on his back over the finish line. Well, Brandon's always been a Book hater, right? I mean, he tortures the Jazz. We know that.
Well, it's just funny, like, hey, Book can't carry a team, but then anytime free agency comes up or the All-Star game comes up, all of his peers and everybody says that he's an All-Star and he deserves better. So, I mean, it is what it is.
SLC P Shooter, welcome to the show, says Jazz didn't draft Festus Bojan because, remember, they don't draft well. Point taken.
Yep.
That's hysterical. Casey Finlayson says, going to have to get Clarkson to have another night like last night against Denver.
I mean, it's
Agree
really
with that.
simple, dude. He's got to put up 30 against good teams. He tends to disappear.
Illerkinick says Clarkson is a hit or miss guy. It's either he is too hot or too cold. And either way, he doesn't pass and he's a black hole. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you love it and
he
you
did
hate
make a great pass last night, though, to his credit. I mean, that behind the back pass to the wing was crazy.
I think on the regular, the problem for the Jazz with Clarkson is he just keeps shooting.
Yeah.
The best part about Jordan Clarkson is he just keeps shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot here lately, he's been really cold. So it was nice to see him kind of go off. Cody Strickland says, I love Rudy, but you're right. Defensive player of the year for sure. MVP, no. He needs a post-up shot. And the funny thing is there was a guy on YouTube yesterday like putting up shots or a video of Rudy taking threes from 3 years ago. And it's like, well, that's really cool and stuff, but where is that in a game?
He takes threes in warm-up. Like, he does that all the time.
And this is why I say, like, Toronto's a perfect example. We tend to get to the game pretty early. Mm-hmm. We were watching Fred VanVleet warm up, and I'm a big believer. Good old Ron Sapolcik, Round Lake Senior High School varsity basketball coach when this guy was there, used to say, we take shots that in practice, we take shots that we take in the game. He would never let us, like, even in our Saturday practices, he would never let us shoot threes. He would never let us, like, take half-court heaves. None of that. Like, when I played back in the 90s.
Back in your day.
Back in my day. The mid-range was critical. Now, I happen to shoot a lot of threes when I played, but either way, he would always be a fan of that. And Fred VanVleet, in warm-up, took a ton of mid-range shots, like fadeaways, Chris Paul the same, and what did he do in the game? Took a ton of mid-range shots, fadeaways, and he made most of them. I look at Rudy Gobert, he comes out and takes one shot in warm-ups. It's a three-pointer. By the way, he missed. I actually think he shot an air ball. And that was his warm-up that night. Mm-hmm. It's cool that there are YouTube videos of Rudy Gobert shooting threes, and it's cool that he's made a couple of jump shots this year. How can I describe other than to say Giannis Antetokounmpo is a better jump shooter than Rudy Gobert?
Yeah.
Ben Simmons is a better jump shooter than Rudy Gobert.
Yep.
Like, if you truly are tweeting me videos of YouTube or tweeting me YouTube videos of Rudy Gobert shooting threes, like from the summer of 2017, I think it was, what's the point of that? He's never doing that in a game for this team.
It's not fucking real, right? All right.
I mean, it's not real. True. James Knight says, with all due respect, guys, don't you think Quinn sees everything you guys do and more? Well, I'm sure he does, but all I care about is what happens on the floor. It's great that your coach, and Quinn Snyder, I think, is probably the coach of the year at this point.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't manifest itself during a game, what's the benefit?
Well, and I think we can apply this to the whole thing about them running out to a huge lead in the West in the first half. I mean, first half of the season, like it's great that you are the number one seed, but if you don't perform in the postseason, what good is it? And I think for Quinn Snyder, I can't say confidently that I would want to be in his position because if you think about it, he's in a difficult spot here. I mean, he's got to take this team, a team that is a little unorthodox in the way they play the game. And he's got to take them to the NBA Finals. And the road to get there is not an easy one. And so, yes, there are some benefits this year. The Lakers are a team that's clearly not 100% and probably won't be. You look at your biggest competition, and it's the Suns and the Clippers. Hopefully tomorrow night you beat the Nuggets. You build some confidence with that. And if you meet them, you beat them in the postseason again. So I don't know, man. I think if you're Quinn Snyder, you've done a hell of a job. But, man, your job is just getting started. It's just getting started.
Totally agree. Again, I'm going to try this name. Macquevius Okay.
Who the fuck are you?
That's where I'm going to stop. Did you guys see the Rangers Capitals fight? Yes, we'll talk about that in a minute. I promise you. Marchesian? Okay, I'm out. Casey Finland says, Jordan Clarkson is my son's favorite player. He's got the jersey and everything. He needs to stay hot coming down the stretch. Well, for your son's mental health, I would agree. Jordan Clarkson is your favorite player is a recipe for disaster. Rule Reyes says, the problem with Rudy is he can't keep up with stretch bigs. Look what happened with us last playoffs with the Nuggets and Jokic.
Hey, about to see it again Friday night.
Let's see if he's improved. If Rudy's developed and he's shooting all these threes in 2017, okay, I'll stop. Raid Perspective says, I'd like to see Rudy take a really slow three like it was a foul shot. Nobody would guard him. He would have all the time in the world to shoot. Yeah, that'd be like, a Petri dish or a
This
Bunsen
team,
burner.
listen,
That'd be amazing.
If he could shoot threes at even a reasonable percentage, I'm not talking 40%. I'm talking 32, 33. If he could do what the Lopez brothers do, if he could do even half of what Jokic could do, this team would
Just
be.
give me half of what Giannis does.
Dude, this team would be an NBA Finals favorite if Rudy Gobert could do that, because that would open up their game so much. I mean, that would completely change what Quinn could do with this offense. And I think people don't understand just how impactful that would be because you don't see it. It's hard to envision, like, wow, what does it look like to see Rudy on the 3-point line taking a 3-point shot? What does that even look like? I mean, I'm telling you, if he could do that and make them, and the defense had to respect that, this would be a completely different team.
The Plinko chip. Are you an actual, like, Price is Right?
Who the fuck is that guy?
You're a real Plinko chip. Thanks for subscribing, because he wants to know if we gave away the Xbox. I've never heard of you before. And I think I'd remember the Plinko chip. Did you tag us on Twitter, sir? And no, we have not given away the Xbox, but we will.
I haven't heard that name either.
Like,
Just saying.
There's a lot of names in here. Like, we'll see who wins. We'll see. We'll give that away at the end of the show here, coming up in about 15 minutes. James Knight says, guys, don't you think if the Jazz lose Rudy to injury, it's over for the Jazz? I don't. I actually think it would free them up to play a different style of basketball.
Well, but the question is, do they have Don? Do they have Conley? I mean, if you don't have Don,
that goes without saying.
well, but does it go without saying? I mean, not this year, it doesn't, right? I mean, the Lakers were without AD and LeBron. I mean, if they lost Rudy,
Come on, if you don't have Rudy, Conley, and Donovan,
yeah,
there's
it's
nothing
over.
to talk about.
It's over.
What do we even? I mean, there's nothing to talk about, right? I mean,
That's what I'm
to me
saying.
Anyway. All right, make sure that you stick around. We're going to give this away. And by the way, a lot of people are asking what the next contest is. We are going to continue to do contests all the way through 1,000 subscribers.
I love that people just already assume that there's going to be another one.
Well,
I love that.
We like giving stuff away.
We do. It's fun.
People have asked me for the Jordan Funko Pop that's on the shelf behind me. No, bro, those are collectors, and no, you can't have it. I think it was Marcus the other day asked me for my flu game license plate. I didn't tell you that. Somebody on the way home from the gym the other day. And I'm a bad driver probably, so they were honking at me for that. But some guy was honking at me and yelling at me. I wonder if it was for the flu game license plate. Who knows? I do want to talk about this fight in the NHL last night. Wait, LeBron real quick.
Okay.
LeBron James says he'll never be 100% again.
Uh-huh.
Why do you keep talking, LeBron? Like, I don't understand LeBron James. And I want to, like, if you want to talk about something I've tried to like or tried to respect, it's LeBron James. I don't like LeBron. I've never been a LeBron fan. But as a Laker observer, I want to like LeBron. But he just won't shut up. He hurts this ankle, almost breaks his leg. Comes back, limps around, clearly came back too soon. Kudos to you, my friend, for wanting the Lakers to win, for being competitive. Neat. But then he says the other day, yeah, I'll never be 100% again in my career because of this injury. It's like, dude, why would you say that? Well, because you know you're not going to win a championship this year. And I think you have doubts whether you'll ever win another championship. So is that why you're saying that? And why are you making the excuse? Like having the built-in excuse, oh, well, I'll never be 100% again. Like somebody, for a guy who says he's calculated, who doesn't speak just off the cuff. Why are you saying this? What was the calculated win here? And I just go back to his tweet about justice and you're next with this cop in Columbus, Ohio. Where have you gone? Like, where is the calculated, deep thinking LeBron James? Maybe that never existed. I don't know. But why are you saying, like, this really bothers me? Am I making too much of it?
I mean, I don't think you're making too much of it. I think it's a great point and great question to ask. Like, where did the LeBron of old go in terms of like doing the shop and like doing, that the show that he had the shop and like, all the stuff that he was doing. Like, I don't think he's disappeared, but I also think that as people age and as their career wears on and they move markets and you went from, Cleveland to LA and like, just going through all that stuff in the day to day, I think changes you. And I think for LeBron, he's somebody who goes without saying has had to always live up to expectations, even as a high school player. So I just think that for LeBron, he has the weight of the world on him, and I think if he doesn't think before he talks, it comes out really bad. Yeah, I disagreed with what he tweeted about on that cop. We talked about it on the show. You can find it on the channel. Yep. I disagree with the idea that he would come out and say that he's never going to be 100% again, because not only does that undercut the team, that I agree that is a built-in excuse. However, I do agree with him. He is never going to be 100% again, but you shouldn't be going out and saying that. Like it's just not smart.
All I know is Kobe had a knee and an Achilles, and I never once heard him say he would never be 100% again. Mm-hmm. Like he went out and dropped 60 and
it's definitely different. There's no doubt.
What I think is, for the first time in his professional basketball career, LeBron's ability is being questioned, and I think he is seeing the end of the tunnel here. The light of Father Time is staring him down at the end of the tunnel, and I think it's insecurity. I think that's why he's doing this. And all athletes have an ego, and I think that LeBron has a larger ego than most. And I think he sees the end of the road is coming. I mean, that's the only explanation that I can come up with as to why he would say that.
I think that's a very real possibility.
Let's see. Austin Parkins says, why wouldn't people assume there would be more contests? You already said there were going to be more at 750 and 1,000. But the funny thing is, for like a week now, people are like, hey, what are you going to do at 1,000? Like, are you going to give away a Lamborghini? Like, I mean, I don't know how we're going to beat an Xbox because, frankly, I'm not that rich. Maybe we'll give away a massage gun. Who knows? I'm just looking at what's in my room and stuff. But anyway,
Bowflex.
A Bowflex, if you can come and move it. Miguel Boy says, no way, the title is actually in favor for the Jazz. Absolutely right. Again, I'm sorry if I can't say your name. Marking Group stuff. The Lakers are sad. They know it's over. I don't think they're sad. Okay, so here's my question. Why is it okay for the Jazz to use, Donovan's been hurt, and, okay, AD and LeBron have been hurt. That's why the Lakers are where they are.
Yeah.
Oh, but they're sad. They saw what. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not sad.
Yeah.
It's reality. It's absolutely reality. Cody Strickland said he's trying to face the fact that age is closing in, but I think he's most upset that he might not be able to play with Bronny. Well, yeah. I mean, his stated goal has been to hang around 5 more years so that he can play with his son. I agree with that. Austin Parkin says, where is the deep thinking LeBron James? Error 404. Page does not exist. Okay, that's funny. I like that. Felipe says, why the Jazz won? We still play the Nuggets, Warriors, and Blazers. Well, yeah. I mean, do people have that much respect for the Warriors?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Don and Conley have got to be back by the time that Warriors game rolls around.
I mean, I would think so, but I think what people fear is what I like to call the Steph Curry effect, where the game just gets out of hand and he hits all these shots, and there's really nothing you can do about it, and that's what you have to be scared of.
Forgotten Soul says, give away the flu game license plate at 1,000. Nah, man. That's on the.
It's too legendary, bro.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's on the SQ5.
That's too legendary, bro.
I mean, that was an impressive poll by me. Like, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
You didn't have the balls to do it. I did.
What do you mean?
What's your license plate going to be?
I don't know yet. I got to figure that out soon.
What are you contemplating?
Well, obviously Monty's show. I mean, that would be that'd be perfect. But I don't know. I got to come up with some ideas. So. I'm not sure yet. I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't really stockpiled ideas.
Cody Strickland says, I'll take the Bowflex. No, I actually love the Bowflex. Miguel Boy says, damn, 5 more years is too much. Dude, Curry is crazy.
Yeah,
Curry
dude.
is crazy. I don't understand how he's not higher up on the MVP ladder. I mean, if that team wins down the stretch and they actually, I mean, it's going to be hard for them not to be in the playoffs. They'll be in the play-in, but if they win the play-in game, it's going to be 100% on him.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
it's
been 100% on him all year, and I think that the thing for Curry that people are underrating is the fact that everybody always used to say about Steph Curry that he needed help to win championships. And he may not win the championship this year; it's unlikely. But I think what you're seeing now is he's capable of carrying a team to the postseason.
But who's the player that is like, oh yeah, I can win a championship on my own?
LeBron.
Come on.
What do you mean? Come on, he did that.
When did he do that?
Early in his career, when he had Anderson Varejao as his center, he did that, dude.
He took them to the finals. He didn't win a championship. Kyrie won them a championship in Cleveland, in my opinion. I mean, LeBron got him there.
Yeah, I'm not saying LeBron hasn't had help. I mean, LeBron's had Kyrie, he had Ray Allen, like he's had help. But I think it's just funny that every LeBron James-led team went to the finals 10 years in a row. I think that's saying something.
That is saying something. That's absolutely an accomplishment. I just don't. I don't know. I think we try to knock guys down to make our case, and that's always driven me crazy. Like I just don't. I don't understand the need for that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm probably making too much of it at this point now, but I don't know. Anyway, yeah, good point. Who said that about the lights going out? If you want to stop Curry, Forgotten Soul says, if you want to stop Curry, just turn the lights out in your arena. Did you see that the other night with the Pelicans?
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, it is what it is. Fat Jesus says TXT BKUB. Text backup.
What?
What does that mean?
Wait, what did he say?
I don't know, man. That's your license plate. TXT BKUP. Back up.
Okay.
All right, cool, man. Do y'all think Curry is the best player this season? No. I actually think that's Nikola Jokic. Hot take from Cody Strickland. Hot take. We need like a siren or something. Hot take alert.
Okay.
If the Blazers strike put this year, what's the odds that Dame might join Utah? No. You know, free agents don't sign in Utah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that people don't want to play for the Jazz. Wasn't that a thing?
What's the chance that Dame might join Utah's run for next season? Heard rumors that he might want to come here or the Lakers. I think Damian Lillard wants to be in LA, and I think it's because he has an entertainment career in mind.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see the Lakers are never going to have an endless. They're never going to run out of talent. I think Devin Booker's going to be a Laker. I think Damian Lillard's going to be a Laker. And as much as people hate that, I get it. If you don't win the Xbox, I'll settle for the 370 million Mega Millions ticket. Yeah, no kidding. I don't know. Fat Jesus says text breakup. Oh, yeah. My man.
Doesn't make you feel responsible.
Jake broke up with his last girlfriend by text.
Can't.
No, wait. Let me get this right. He broke up with his living girlfriend on text, over text.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, you don't think that's funny, do you?
I mean, it is what it is.
Forgotten Soul says nobody signs in Utah. Stop.
Is he wrong?
So I'm in a group chat. Sean Mierzinski says I'm in a group chat with someone who says that the Suns sweep the Warriors in the playoff. That's a joke.
Sweep the Warriors? I don't know about that. I mean,
They'll beat 'em.
I mean, they'll definitely handily beat them.
They'll beat them.